Hi, I'm Jordan. Some people call me the guy who's always got his head in the clouds, sketching buildings that most folks think are impossible to build. That's what makes me good at my job as an architect. My grandfather, Pop, believed in me when no one else did. He was an architect too, one of the best in the state. When he passed last year, he left me his villa, this gorgeous place overlooking the lake that he designed himself back in the 70s. You're the only one who'll appreciate the angles, the way the light hits the windows at sunset, Pop told me before he died. Promise me you'll keep it in the family. I was planning renovations when this big international project came up, designing an eco-friendly office complex in Singapore. 3 months abroad, huge for my career. The timing sucked because I needed to handle some property tax stuff and maintenance issues with the villa. I can take care of the paperwork while you're gone, Mom offered during our Sunday dinner. It's just signing a few things, right? You sure? It might be complicated. Jordan, please. I raised you, didn't I? I think I can handle a few forms. My sister Rachel was there with her husband Mark and their kids. As usual, Mom spent the whole dinner fawning over them. Look how big the twins are getting. Mark, didn't you get that promotion? And Rachel, honey, your hair looks amazing. Meanwhile, I got the usual, Jordan, when are you going to settle down? All work and no family makes for a lonely old age. Classic Mom. It's been this way since we were kids. Rachel was the golden child who could do no wrong. I was the disappointment who chose drafting tables over dating. Still, family is family. I trusted Mom with the paperwork and flew to Singapore. We talked weekly, and she assured me everything was fine with the villa. I even sent her money for the property taxes and some minor repairs. Don't worry about a thing, she'd say. Just focus on your big important job. I returned home last week exhausted but excited to sleep in my own bed at the villa. Drove straight there from the airport, but my key didn't work. Figured Mom might have changed the locks for security, so I called her. Oh, you're back already? Why don't you come over for dinner first? Something in her voice seemed off. I went to her place and found Rachel, Mark, and their kids there too. Surprise homecoming party, I joked, but nobody laughed. We need to talk, Mom said, patting the seat next to her. That's when she dropped the bomb. She had transferred ownership of the villa to Rachel and Mark. She showed me the papers with what looked like my signature on them. You did what? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. They need the space with the twins. You're always traveling. It just makes sense. I stared at Rachel, who couldn't even look me in the eye. Mark just shrugged like it was the most normal thing in the world. That villa was Pop's. He left it to me. Jordan, be reasonable, Mom sighed. They deserve it more since they have children. What would you do with all that space anyway? Just you and your drawings? I looked around at their faces. Mom's dismissive expression, Rachel's guilty one, Mark's smug smile, and realized this betrayal had been planned all along. I stormed out of Mom's house and called my law school buddy, Miguel. I need to meet you. Now. It's an emergency. 2 hours later, we were huddled in his downtown office reviewing the documents. These transfer papers are garbage, Jordan. Your signature doesn't match your other documents, but they've been notarized and filed. My own mother, I still can't believe it. We need evidence you never signed these. Got any proof you were out of the country? Passport stamps, credit card statements, work emails with Singapore IP addresses? Perfect. Let's build the case. Meanwhile, see what they've done to the place. The next morning, I drove to my villa and nearly crashed my car. The classic exterior was being painted beige. A dumpster contained what looked like my custom bookshelves. I called Rachel. I'm outside. We need to talk. It's not the villa anymore. It's our home, but fine. Come in if you must. Inside, Pop's record collection was replaced by a giant TV. Mark lounged on a new sectional where my grandfather's furniture once stood. Where's all my stuff? Storage unit on Oakley Avenue. Unit 23. Your mom moved most of it. You can't just take someone's property. This is illegal. Rachel appeared from the kitchen. Actually, we can. It's all perfectly legal. Mom showed us the papers. Those papers are forged. I never signed anything. Mark laughed. Good luck proving that. Your mom handled everything by the book. Besides, what do you need all this space for? We have actual children who need a yard. I noticed my grandfather's awards were gone. Where are Pop's awards? Those old things, they clashed with our aesthetic. They're probably in storage. Or donated. Mom handled it. You've been planning this for months. Years, actually, Mark smirked. Ever since the old man died, your mom always thought he made a mistake leaving it to you. I left before doing something I'd regret. At my hotel, I called my colleague, Natalie. They did what? Your mom forged documents? That's a felony. I need to prove it first and somewhere to stay while I figure this out. My guest room is yours, and I'm helping you fight this. With Natalie's help, I dug through years of financial records. The college fund Mom supposedly set up never existed. The investment account she managed, emptied for Rachel's wedding. My father's life insurance that should have been split equally. Rachel got triple my share. This goes beyond the villa, I told Miguel. She's been financially sabotaging me my entire adult life. And now we have proof. What do you want to do about it? I looked at our wall of evidence. I want justice and my home back. I'm in, Natalie said. Me too, Miguel nodded. What's the plan? First, we gather more evidence. Then we set a trap. And finally, we take everything back. The next morning, I called Mom with my best defeated voice. I've been thinking about what you said. Maybe you're right about Rachel and Mark needing the villa more than me. Well, I'm glad you're finally being reasonable, Jordan. Family should support each other. Little did she know, I had Natalie recording the entire conversation. We spent the next week setting up our trap. I bought high-quality recording devices and planted them strategically around Natalie's apartment before inviting Mom over for coffee. It's so nice to see you calming down about this whole situation. Rachel was worried you'd make a scene. Water under the bridge. Hey, I was thinking we should have a family dinner at the villa. To officially welcome them to their new home. That's a wonderful idea. I'll tell them you're coming around. After she left, Natalie high-fived me. She bought it completely, but why invite them to dinner? People reveal their true selves when they feel they've won. I called my old architecture firm buddy Derek, who happened to be on the local real estate association board. I need you to quietly spread some concerns about potential title fraud on my grandfather's property. Nothing official, just whispers. Consider it done. Nobody messes with one of our own. The reconciliation dinner was set for Saturday. I arrived early with an expensive bottle of champagne and a hidden agenda. Miguel was parked down the street, ready with legal backup if needed. Rachel and Mark were already acting like they'd owned the place forever. They'd painted over Pop's hand-stenciled dining room with some bland beige. Love what you've done with the place, I lied, activating the recording app on my phone. Thanks. We're thinking of redoing the kitchen next, Rachel said. Big plans, huh? Renovations are expensive. Mark poured himself a generous scotch. Actually, we're thinking of selling after the renovations. A place like this could fetch 7 figures easily. I nearly choked. Selling? But I thought you needed it for the kids. Mom shot Mark a warning look. What Mark means is they're considering all options for their future. No, what I mean is this place is our ticket out of debt. Rachel's boutique is tanking, and the credit card companies are breathing down our necks, Rachel hissed. Mark, we agreed not to discuss that. I pretended to be surprised. So you never needed the villa for the family? It was always about the money? Mom waved dismissively. Don't be dramatic. They deserve a fresh start. Besides, you weren't doing anything with the place. Except living in it and honoring Pop's wishes. Mark scoffed. Your grandfather wouldn't know the difference. He's dead. That was the moment I'd been waiting for. I excused myself to the bathroom and texted Miguel. Got it all. They admitted everything. Over dessert, I casually mentioned, I ran into Bill Johnson from the county clerk's office yesterday. He mentioned something odd about the title transfer, something about signature verification. The color drained from Mom's face. What exactly did he say? Just that they're implementing a new verification system, retroactively checking recent property transfers. Nothing to worry about if everything's legitimate, right? Rachel and Mom exchanged panicked glances. Anyway, I continued, I should head out. Big meeting tomorrow with my lawyer about some inheritance issues, purely routine. As I walked out, I could hear them frantically whispering. My phone buzzed with a text from Miguel. Just filed the initial paperwork. The trap is set. I smiled as I drove away. All the pieces were in place. The recording was clear as day. Derek had already spread word throughout the real estate community about potential fraud, and Miguel had prepared the legal documents for Monday morning. They thought they'd won, but their victory celebration was about to turn into their worst nightmare. Monday morning arrived with a thunderclap of justice. Miguel and I walked into the courthouse together, armed with recordings, documents, and righteous anger. The emergency hearing was already packed. My architect colleagues had spread the word. All rise for the Honorable Judge Stevens. The judge peered over her glasses. This is a highly unusual case. Property fraud is typically handled differently, but given the evidence submitted, I'm granting this emergency hearing. Mom, Rachel, and Mark arrived just as proceedings began, looking confused until they spotted me at the plaintiff's table. "What is the meaning of this?" Mom hissed as she sat down. "Justice." Miguel presented our evidence masterfully: forged signatures, recordings of their admission to sell the property, documented proof I was overseas when I supposedly signed the transfer papers. Then came the bombshell. "Your Honor, we have a sworn statement from the notary confirming she never witnessed my client's signature and was pressured by the defendant to backdate the documents." The notary, Miss Peterson, stepped forward. "The defendant told me her son had signed already but couldn't come in person. I should have refused, but she was insistent." Mom's face crumpled. "I only did what was best for the family." "Silence," Judge Stevens commanded. "Based on the evidence presented, I'm issuing an immediate reversal of the property transfer. Further, I'm referring this case to the district attorney for potential criminal charges of forgery and fraud." During recess, Rachel cornered me in the hallway. "You've ruined everything. We needed that money from selling the villa. Should have thought about that before stealing my home." "It's not stealing when it's family." "That's exactly what it is." 2 weeks later, the fallout was spectacular. Mom was charged with forgery, facing probation and hefty fines. Rachel and Mark's financial desperation became public knowledge after the court documents leaked. Their social circle, always pretentious, dropped them completely. I changed the locks on the villa the same day I received the official paperwork. Walking through those doors again felt like victory, despite the damage they'd done to Pop's carefully designed spaces. Mom showed up unannounced a month later, eyes red from crying. "Can we talk? I've been doing a lot of thinking." "About what? How you betrayed me? Or how you got caught?" "I'm your mother, Jordan. I made a mistake, a terrible mistake, but family forgives. Family doesn't steal from each other. Family doesn't forge signatures. Family doesn't betray trust. I'm sorry. What more can I say?" "Nothing. There's nothing more to say." I closed the door on her tearful face and never looked back. 6 months later, the villa was restored to its former glory. Pop's architectural awards were back on the wall. His record collection, salvaged from that storage unit, played vintage jazz through the house. Natalie, Miguel, Derek, and a few other true friends gathered on the terrace overlooking the lake. "To justice," Miguel raised his glass. "And to chosen family," Natalie added. I looked around at these people who had stood by me, who had helped me fight for what was right without expecting anything in return. To all of you, the real family I never knew I needed. The sunset painted the lake gold, just as Pop had designed it to do. I was home, finally and truly. Sometimes cutting toxic people from your life isn't just an option. It's the only way forward. Would you have completely cut your mother and sister out of your life like Jordan did? Or would you have given them a second chance after such a massive betrayal? Is there a line family members can cross that makes forgiveness impossible? Or should blood relatives always get another opportunity to make things right? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this revenge story, hit that like button and subscribe for more dramatic real-life stories every week. Your support helps our channel grow, and we'd love to hear your experiences with family betrayal.